Don't be scared if you don't fit in. Look who's in the reject bin. It's the Raggy Dolls.
Raggy Dolls.
Raggy Dolls.
Raggy Dolls.
Dolls like you and me. Raggy Dolls.
Raggy Dolls.
Raggy Dolls.
Raggy Dolls.
Made him perfectly. So if you got a bump on your nose or lumps on your toes, do not despair. Be like the Raggy Doll and say I just don't care. 'Cause Raggy Dolls,
Raggy Dolls.
Raggy Dolls
Raggy Dolls.
are happy just to be Raggy Dolls, Raggy Dolls, dolls like you and me. The Raggy Dolls were out in the field trying to decide what to do. "Let's play leapfrog," suggested Dotty. "Oh, yes, what a good idea," agreed Princess. "Sounds good to me," said Hi-Fi. What is this leapfrog?" asked Claude. "How do you play it?" "It's rotten," said Sad Sack. "All you do is bend over, and everyone jumps over you. Then you have to jump over everyone else." "Well, what is wrong with that?" demanded Claude. "I could never jump over anyone else. I always squash them. Besides, I'm no good at games." "Oh, come along, Sad Sack, do back up," said Dotty. "There must be something you can do." But Sad Sack just sighed. "No, there isn't." All the dolls felt very sorry for him. "I know," said Lucy suddenly. "Why don't we all have a game of cricket? We can all be fielders and Sad Sack can be in bat." "Come on, Sad Sack, play." "OK," said Sad Sack. Dotty took a long time to run up. "Well, it's now or never," thought Sad Sack. She tossed the ball so fast it made a big cloud of dust as it bounced in front of the wicket. "How's that?" yelled Dotty, thinking she'd hit the stumps. "Achoo! I'm not out," sneezed Sad Sack. Bad as he was at games, he wasn't going to be out first ball. "You're out," insisted Dotty. "Not out," argued Sad Sack. The two dolls couldn't agree. Hi-Fi tried to settle things. He tried to reason with them. "Oh, these crazy English," thought Claude. "What a stupid game. I want no part of it." Lucy was confused. She couldn't make up her mind. She wobbled about, all of a dither. "With all that dust, who could be sure? This is a decision for the umpire," said Princess. Everyone, including Claude, cheered up immediately. "Right," said Dotty, and the others agreed. But Back to Front, who was the umpire, hadn't been watching the game. He was staring up at the sky. "What on earth is that?" said Back to Front. "It's called an aeroplane," said Hi-Fi. "Ooh, yeah," said Back to Front. Hi-Fi went on to explain how aeroplanes flew all over the world, taking people wherever they wanted to go. "How exciting it would be to fly in one," thought Princess. "I wonder, do they by any chance visit La France?" thought Claude. The dolls watched in amazement as the aeroplane twisted and dived and looped the loop. What they didn't know was that it was a toy aeroplane belonging to a boy in the next field. He was making it fly by remote control. Now he was ready to try the most daring trick of all, the victory roll. At the flick of a switch, the aeroplane went into a steep dive, then spun round and round, twisting through the sky like a giant corkscrew as it plunged towards the ground. Mayday! Help! Emergency! It's going to crash! Ah! Oh!
The dolls were quickly on the scene. "Thank goodness no one's hurt," smiled Princess. They all studied the wreckage. Hi-Fi suggested that they could mend it and fly it themselves. What a good idea, they all agreed. Even Sad Sack.
Well, it's worth a try, he thought. I'll fix this in a jiffy, no problem, thought Back to Front.
Claude carried the propeller, Hi-Fi and Lucy carried a wing, and the others got behind the rest of the aeroplane and pushed it.
This is better than cricket, thought Sad Sack.
Meanwhile, the boy was searching everywhere for his lost aeroplane. He didn't know about the dolls. He didn't know that they had found his aeroplane, and they were all hard at work, sewing, painting, and fixing. Before long, the aeroplane was looking as good as new.
That about does it, said Hi-Fi. Time to see if it will fly.
It was a moment of great excitement. Hi-Fi climbed into the pilot's seat. Back to Front sat in the observer's seat, while the others found themselves a safe place on the wings.
Everybody hold tight,
called Sad Sack, and on a signal from Hi-Fi, he whirled the propeller. This was the moment they had all been waiting for. The engine roared, and slowly the aeroplane moved forward. Then they felt it lift. The Raggy Dolls were flying! Hi-Fi took the aeroplane very high. How small things looked from this height. Houses and trees were like tiny dots. "Ooh la la," thought Claude. "It is very breezy. I wonder how long it will take to get to France." But Hi-Fi wasn't thinking about France. He wanted to try some aerobatics. The dolls felt their tummies turn over as the aeroplane looped the loop. Soon they were whizzing over the treetops.
I suppose this is fun, thought Sad Sack. I think it could be cheering me up.
Hi-Fi was thinking it was time to stop. They were running out of fuel. So, with a hop and a bump, the aeroplane landed safely on the field. Hi-Fi looked pleased with himself. "Well, oh, Hi-Fi," said Princess, "you have given us a flight we shall remember forever." Even Sad Sack agreed. All this time, the boy had been searching for his aeroplane. Where could it be? Suddenly, there it was, right in front of him. He was delighted. He could hardly believe his eyes. It was looking as good as new.
That was great fun, said Lucy.
Oh, yes, said Sad Sack. I think I shall become an aeroplane pilot.
Muttered Dotty. I think you should learn to play cricket before you learn to fly. I seem to remember bowling you out.
No, you didn't bowl me out. You missed.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did.
No, I didn't.
Did.
Didn't.
Did.
Didn't.
Raggy dolls, raggy dolls, are happy just to be. Raggy dolls, dolls like you and me.
The Raggy Dolls were enjoying a peaceful day in the country. Back to Front was lying flat on his stomach, looking up at the clear blue sky. Hi-Fi was listening to his music, while Lucy and Princess were looking at all the wild flowers growing in the fields. "Oh, isn't this fun?" said Princess. "There are so many different shapes and colours." "Oh, yes," replied Lucy. "And look at all those daisies. Let's make a daisy chain." "Oh, yes," thought Princess. "We can make necklaces and bracelets and crowns." Dotty was trying to do a painting of Sadsack. "Sit still," she called. "How can I paint you if you keep on fidgeting?"
"It's not my fault,"
said Sadsack glumly.
"I think I'm sitting on a thistle or something."
"Well, get rid of it," said Dotty. Sadsack fussed about and finally brought out a small sharp stone from underneath him.
"Ah, that's a bit better."
"Good," said Dotty. "Now can you please sit still?" It was such a lovely day. They were all feeling really happy, except for Claude. He didn't think it was right for a smart French doll like him to be lounging around doing nothing in particular. "Zut alors," he said loudly. "I'm really bored." "Relax, Claude," said Back to Front. "There's nothing better than a nice day in the country with lots of lovely fresh air and warm sunshine and peace and quiet." But Back to Front had spoken too soon. What was that noise? Sadsack looked around in alarm. "Oh, do keep still," pleaded Dotty.
"Listen,"
he said. The dolls all listened, even Hi-Fi, who took off his earphones. "Whatever can it be?" thought Princess. Lucy was all of a tremble and in danger of coming to pieces. The strange noises got louder and louder. "It sounds like a zoo," crackled Hi-Fi, listening hard. "No," said Dotty, pointing. "It's a circus. Look." And sure enough, it was. And coming straight towards them was a huge elephant. "Quelle horreur!" yelled Claude. "What is that?" "Shh," said Back to Front. "He'll hear you." The elephant lumbered towards them. He was so big and heavy, the ground shook with every step, bouncing the dolls up and down.
"Oh no, it's an earthquake,"
moaned Sadsack, and the dolls ran to escape. But everywhere they ran, they were surrounded by heavy lorries, animals in cages, and a gang of men who were marching towards them. "Quick!" cried Dotty, pointing to a sheet of folded canvas. "Let's hide under here." The dolls dived under the canvas and huddled together. "Ooh la la, it is dark in here," said Claude. "I wonder what's happening," whispered Lucy. Outside, men were pulling on heavy ropes. They pulled and they pulled, and suddenly the Raggy Dolls felt themselves leaving the ground. Slowly, the canvas was being pulled up a tall pole. At last, the tent was up. Now the Raggy Dolls were right at the very top. Far below them, the circus ring was a hive of activity. Two of the seals were practicing with a ball, balancing it on their noses and tossing it between each other. The circus horse was pawing the ground impatiently. The clowns were busy too, making pies to throw at one another. And two huge lions were roaring inside their cage, waiting for their trainer. At the top of the pole, the dolls were feeling nervous. What shall we do? However will we get down, they wondered. Don't worry, girls, said Back to Front. I'll carry you across the wire. There's a ladder on the other side. We can get down from there, no problem. Lucy, Dotty and Princess hung on terrified as Back to Front set off across the wire, walking backwards to see where he was going. Hi-Fi and Sad Sack decided they couldn't wait, so they grabbed the trapeze and swung across together. "Look out!" yelled Claude. But he was too late. Hi-Fi and Sad Sack collided with the others. Claude could hardly bear to watch as the dolls fell towards the ground. Sad Sack landed on a seal. What a floppy ball, thought the seal. Back to Front landed on the circus horse, giving it such a terrible fright, it galloped off, with Back to Front hanging on for all he was worth. Hi-Fi landed on the big bass drum. Splosh! Poor Lucy. She landed in a custard pie. It was horribly sticky. But Princess and Dotty were in real trouble. They came down in the lion's cage. The lions had sharp teeth and hungry eyes. Oh dear, thought Princess. I think they're going to heat us up. But Dotty knew what to do. She picked up the trainer's whip and gave it a crack. Get back, you brutes! Oh, Dotty, you're so brave, cried Princess. Oh, I'm just lucky the lions were well trained, said Dotty, breathing a sigh of relief. Claude was still at the top of the tent pole. The dolls looked up at him helplessly. I'm okay, don't worry about me, he called down. But he was well and truly stuck. Back to Front had an idea. He'd spotted a trampoline. Together, the Raggy Dolls pushed it next to the tent pole, right under Claude. Jump! Called Back to Front. Claude looked down at the trampoline. Oh well, vive la France, here goes, he thought, and he leapt off the platform. Up and down he bounced. It was a soft, comfortable landing. Claude was down without a hair out of place. Now all the Raggy Dolls were safe on the ground. The animals really enjoyed their circus act. It made a change for them to see others doing all the work. The seals gave the Raggy Dolls a big round of applause. Well done, Uncle, The Raggy Dolls bowed and waved goodbye. Outside, they were surprised to see a long line of people. They must be crazy to go in there, said Claude.
Yes, said Sad Sack, especially as they've missed the best act of the whole evening. The Raggy Dolls' tent pole act. Oh, I made a joke.
It's not much of a life when you're just a pretty face. Just to be whoever you are is no disgrace. Look around and you will find people of every kind, like the Raggy Dolls,
Raggy Dolls,
Raggy Dolls,
Raggy Dolls,
dolls like you and me. Raggy Dolls,
Raggy Dolls,
Raggy Dolls,
Raggy Dolls,
made imperfectly. So if you're not at ease with your knobbly knees and your fingers are all thumbs, stand on your two left feet